Hello, for more so welcome to Invest. Talk about investing, finance, and professional development. For today's other items only, the investment talk today will be Ethereum to ETH. So it's my second posting as of today. Respect to recording time of 2:30 p.m. exactly on the Eastern time. Ethereum currently trading $3,541, up about 4.23% so far. Respect to overall crypto market and the equity market is relatively green today. There's a lot of bullish news, specifically on crypto. But also at the same time on the equity side, there's some news cultivating around the COVID variants news and the inflationary pressure ever since the CPI report that came out. It seems like investment sentiment around the inflation or the quantitative tapering on how it's going to be triangulated by the Fed going forward seems like it's less worrisome than expected. So on the media affectation front, subsequently drive some buying pressure. But also at the same time, on the COVID variants news front, some regional states in the U.S., I would say selective states, are the cases seems like it's slowly mitigating, and that's a good sign in the regional level. But in the global and also in domestic perspective on the overall United States, that's something we still have to question, right? So it seems like there are some cherry picking news, more media affectation driving the buying pressure across the market. So it's good, for people that are invested right now, to be seeing some green pressure is always to be, enjoyable to see a green day, if you may, right? So specifically for Ethereum, we are above the level of 3,472, which is technically the level of the next, the consolidation that we had basically on the 31st and the 1st of September before this one green leap up, right? So it seems like we're matching with respect to the level that we're at right now. We're also above it. So technically, if we are going to break through the next level, we're going to leap back up to the 3,832. So with respect to some of the news, before I go through the technical analysis, chronologically speaking, I would say in the last 6 hours so far, all the news have been very positive, right? And I'm just been keeping tabs. So with respect to the first one, came out 40 minutes ago from Bazinga, talking about Dogecoin, Ethereum Classic, Ethereum breaks bullishly from this pattern. So this is something we know, right? We know for Ethereum specifically, we broke through the $3,150 level and subsequently leap up to the next level, 3,315 or 3,325. And we also broke through the $3,475 level to next leap up. The next level would technically be the 3,843. Okay, so with respect to other coins on Dogecoin, I think Dogecoin is still interesting level for us to buy at, right? I think with respect to a level, I'll wait until like the 20 cents level. But if we actually break and continue the bullishness, which I think it makes sense because the MACD and RSI is slowly curving back up right now. We are slowly forming a curvature on the MACD perspective. So if Dogecoin is going to break, it's going to basically leap up to the 30 cents as the next platform of consolidation, which is, quite amazing, right? If you think about that in a percentage perspective. So Cardano, we are, basically hovering above the, $2.31. On our side is comparable to Ethereum, which makes sense, and also MACD's trading comparable to Ethereum as well. So I think that in terms of like the momentum and the characteristics on a technical perspective, is quite comparable in terms of the momentum at the moment. Solana, we are basically reversing because of the fact that across the crypto news, there's been a lot of positive news today, right? So we are basically reversing back up. But is this level sustainable? I would say absolutely not because of the fact that we have just formed that cross and we're still overbought on all levels. So today, this is just a drag effect across all market directly from Bitcoin and Ethereum respectively. So XRP, just to go through, all of them, right? We are still hovering, and I think XRP, we are, more leaning towards the, a mixture between like the technical characteristics of Ethereum, and with respect to Cardano, with some mixture of characteristics of Solana as well. So I think with respect to the level that we at right now at the 50, I was still kind of weighed off, right? Because despite we forming a curvature at the moment, you see that there was an abnormality that happened here that crossed and subsequently it was like a bullish signal which surged up for a second, but then we subsequently reversed. So that was like a huge whale manipulation from there, which was very obvious because it formed an outlier. This chart basically broke at that level and then subsequently dropped. So I feel sorry for people that actually bought in at that level, chasing the pump, which is never the logical thing to do. So Ethereum, just to go back to the news, right? So beside the Benzinga news came out 40 minutes ago, the next news that's talking about is coming from Skybridge Capital. The head of Skybridge Capital, Anthony Scaramucci, I think I'm butchering his name again. He's a crypto fund manager, right? So he's invested heavily into Ethereum and obviously with respect to Bitcoin. And his verbiage with the media front is basically talk about if they're going to regulate crypto, obviously, they better do it quickly because the global adoptions and commercialization is outpacing how, the SEC compliance or the Fed are basically maneuvering through the growth that we frankly have been seeing, astronomical growth in just the recent time frame, right? So they better catch up. It's basically, another name drop, if you may, from Market Watch, right? It's great that he's a public figure. Definitely one of the most successful crypto investors in our generation at the moment. So great stamp of approval from someone that's highly respected in the crypto industry, if you may. So another one talk about on the Crips 3 hours ago, talk about $1 billion worth of Ethereum has been burned since the London hard fork that happened about a couple weeks ago. So that's about 300,000 Ethereum if you count that, about $1 billion worth, right? So another regurgitation news talking about how much we've been burned so far, and obviously we drive some supply and demand dynamics. That's just on a fundamental basis. So that's something that's great to know about, which subsequently means that the bottom should technically be higher than ever now compared to when we were at the 1750. And again, with respect to my bottom, is basically like around like 2,750, 2,450, right, per the technical analysis that we see right now. So this is a great regurgitation news, with some triangulations with the macro and the technicals, if you may. Another one talk about from Market Watch, and this is something that is a regurgitation from the CNBC news that happened earlier today, hosted by Andrew Ross Sorkins, which is a reporter, a correspondent. He was having an interview with Ray Dalio, who is a billionaire investor and the founder of hedge fund Bridgewater Associates, right? And basically, on a high-level synopsis of what he was talking about in the interview, is basically saying that if Bitcoin is successful, which he believes there is value and merits to Bitcoin, the Fed and the government will subsequently want to kill it, and they will put Bitcoin as a target to kill it. So whatever that means, he's not really a substantive subject matter expert in crypto, to be honest with you, despite his success as a hedge fund manager. But I think, and based on the interview that I've heard so far, right, he didn't really explain anything substantive either. He's just basically saying that Bitcoin is a target now because it's successful. But he did say that there's merits to Bitcoin. But overall, that's about it. He didn't really explain anything, right? There was no evidentiary support on research that he has done. He's just basically saying how he feels. So another, interesting article or interesting news that you could just read or watch the video, but obviously with a grain of salt, right? And that's pretty much it on the overall latest news, compared to our first video that I posted this morning. So with respect to the technical front, again, right, Ethereum is currently up about 4.08%. With respect to the surge that we're seeing in the last 2 days so far, it's really driven by the, I would say, account of 20 positive news that we've been seeing so far, right? And people are basically influenced that, we are going to keep sustaining the bull cycle. But we also have to understand, why is the timing right now like this? Why are we surging? And why is the news so aggressive recently? Why are they doing this right now? Right? It's always, something we have to question. When news are so positive and so aggressively, waving in your face that is bullish, is always great, is really good, is, we're going to break to the next target, you should be questioning and you should start controlling your greed and controlling your emotions, you know, I do see with respect to the technicals right now, we do have a relatively large leap to go up to next level, right? And we saw on XRP, which is something that was weird, right? You see a green surge and we subsequently see a red candle from there. I hope this is not something that is comparable, right? We might see a green surge and then we see a red candle drop us, right? So with respect to the MACD right now, it looks kind of bullish actually. We are curving up. So technically you could say that 3,150 was the short-term bottom that we had. However, RSI is confirming that we're still in the mid-level. We're not like oversold. We're not overbought. We're just at the mid-level, right? So it seems like there are, investors holding on, which is obviously the short-term holder converting into a long-term investor. But in terms of like the imbalance that we still have is the whales, right, that are still have a high supply or market supply power in comparisons to the small investors like you and I, right? So would I be suggesting buying now? I think the risk is definitely high. Not as high as before, just in a logical perspective. But the news has been fishy based on how we've been keeping tabs so far. We have a large leap to go up to. So your risk averse level needs to be well maintained at the moment right now, right? And we might see a leap up going forward, but the next leap up will be going to the $3,800. Do we see a likelihood of actually surging another $300 with the 20 positive news that we've heard so far? And we're going to keep seeing this until the weekend. And remember the weekend affectation, right? Contingent on no positive media affectation that's going to be happening on the weekend, we might see some selling pressure on the weekend, which is historical observations that we have observed together in the past. So to do this is to basically look at the frames of reference of the fundamentals, right? We are within the anxiety and denial stage. It's a reason why you are feeling anxious and you're feeling like, come on, we are still going to be in the bullish cycle going forward. Historical Q4 has always been positive, so it must be the case, right? So it's a reason why we feel this way, but that's why staying within the psychology charts, the cheat sheet, if you may, is so important, right? It's a reason why the news are so coincidental and so bullish on a day-to-day basis. The whales are in control, ultimately. So something we have to be cautious of. When everybody's being greedy, that's when you have to run away. When everybody's being fearful, that's when you should be buying it. And that's the mindset you need to adopt. I know it's very counterintuitive, but that's the way it's supposed to be, the logical way to maneuver. Buy on a discount, not on a premium. So with respect to frames of reference, 3,000, 2,700, 2,450 are still the levels I will be entering at, right? I have 55 Ethereum, which is a relatively sizable amount. I want to build to 100, so I ideally want to have the dips. I wasn't as lucky as you guys, or some of you guys, bought at the 3,000, but I'll watch the level that we should be ideally going back to if we believe in the fundamentals, right? But if you bought in now, right, that's your risk aversion. Just know that hold it long term, right? Because like ultimately 12 months from now, next year September, 9,800 or even above $10,000 would not be crazy or surprise to us because it's something we've been talking about, right? So hopefully this is helpful. It's my second update today. Definitely a lot of positive news with a lot of public figures, influential figures that are, pumping this. So definitely a very interesting time that we're experiencing right now. But really, hopefully this is helpful. And, feel free to give me any questions if you have any specific ones. And stay tuned for this to come up. Take care. Bye.